Cardano just made a new all-time high, $2.50. Astounding. A lot of people thought that it was a sell the news opportunity, but it seems that Cardano could keep rising right into the Alonzo hard fork. It feels like full-blown alt season. I'm going to review the 4 trades that I presented earlier this week. Some of those still have great entries. We're going to also take a look at Bitcoin and all of the news that's driving the market today, and there is a lot of it. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and gently stroke and caress that like button right down below. High school kids smash buttons. That's what you do if you're on the Jersey Shore in the smush room. If you're an adult, you gently caress and massage the like button. Now, new format here. As you can see, the intention, we'll see how it works, is for me to live stream every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Instead of doing the videos that I've been doing before, the recorded videos, these will be short live streams. The idea being that the charts are more relevant. We don't have to have a gap before editing, and everything can happen right as it's happening. Also, I really do recommend you subscribe to the channel because I have some huge news coming next week. That's right. I just pulled a Justin Sun / Charles Hoskinson announcement of an announcement. So first, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart, and then we're going to look at the ADA chart, see what's going on there. And then the 4 trades that I presented in a quick video live stream earlier this week, which was Atom, AVAX, EGLD, and SUSHI. And then we're going to go over the news. So without further ado, let's go. As you can see here, we have the daily Bitcoin chart. As I've been saying, nothing is happening here. Consolidation around the 200 MA, about 2 weeks now, right around this line and under this key 47,000 level. We are at $47,062 right now, I believe, unless this chart, let me, what happened? We updated it. Yep, 47,000. That chart does not seem to be moving at the minute, 47,056. And you can see this is just a key level. If we break through it, I think we're looking at 50,000. That could be happening this weekend for all I know. But nothing to see here. This is consolidation. Everything, though, generally looks bullish, right? I mean, we had all this accumulation. Price broke out, broke above the range, which I'll show you on the 4-hour, and now is pushing hard against key resistance. That's what you want to see. Now, let's dig into the 4-hour here and take a look closer. As you can see, this is the trading range accumulation that I talked about so many times. We were there from May 19th, right? Had the lows here around 30,000. Those were swept once. And then obviously we had this sort of deviation here and the bounce that went right back up to about 43. That was the range we were in. We were in that for 3 months. Summer was boring. Oh, well. But we broke out above that at the beginning of August and have continued to trade there. And zooming in, I shared this just yesterday. Had this little descending wedge. I said we had this Chad candle, increasing volume, broke out, retested, and moved up. Now, volume is decreasing now on this move, but maybe if you zoom in, we have a little bit more bullish consolidation here. But theoretically, this move should be targeting right up here between 48,000, 48,190 before making the next decision. Now, listen, I still am looking for, I don't know that it will happen, but I still potentially believe we get one more drop before we move up, a 40 to 42,000. Listen, I thought that that would have happened for the last week and a half. It has not happened. That means bulls are showing tremendous strength, tons of demand. I am not sure that my conviction is very strong, but you know, that would be a really bullish move in my opinion when looking at this daily chart to come back down and test this, right? This is a very key level. You want to see key levels tested as support. It gives you confidence in the move up. That would be very bullish, but so would just absolutely blasting up into the 50,000s this weekend. ADA, here it is on the Bitcoin pair, as you can see, making new highs after this move up and also ranging here, right? Swept the bottom, slight close below just to fake people out, and then moved up. We've been tracking this the whole way. This was a trade that was proposed, breaking the EQ, another idea we talked about, breaking here, another idea, and ultimately it is where you want to end, right? Breaking over the range. This should not return back into the range and trade here for too long. This is breaking this key high. But interestingly, on the Bitcoin pair, let's take a look at the weekly. This ain't the all-time high, right? It's an all-time high on the USDT pair, USD pair, but not on the Bitcoin pair. And that's a really, really important distinction in my mind when we talk about all-time highs, right? And so you can see here the highest close that ADA ever had back in 2000, first week of 2018 was 0.00006240. I think that's the target now of this move. And above that, it's literally all of this happened in 1 week that it was ever higher than that. So we are now tracking towards the highest close on the Bitcoin pair if it can break above that 6240 level. Not very far from here, considering the insane price appreciation of ADA. So right now, I would say that this is looking like a dip buying opportunity still. And maybe by September 12th, when Alonzo hard fork, that's when you sell the news. Who knows? Now, this is really interesting on the USDT chart because obviously this is a new all-time high at the moment. But I want to see the daily close above that, right? Because if you close below, you have a potential bearish SFP. That would be that wick above, finds liquidity, closes below, and drops. Kind of an area that there would be tons of interest in selling for whales that would look to push price down again. So we got to really watch here. I wouldn't enter right now and see if it closes above. If it closes above, listen, we saw this on Solana. We saw this on Luna. There's been a ton of coins that have been hitting new all-time highs of late, going into price discovery, retesting support, and heading up. That's what I would be looking for. But again, you do not want to enter this if it closes below that 247 level. So I would wait. Now, we had 4 trades, Atom, AVAX, EGLD, SUSHI. I think I shared them on Tuesday. Here we go. So Atom was down here. I said there's a potential setup. I do not share signals. I tell you, if this happens, then you would consider trading it, use it in your system. I never say, hey, buy this right now. Well, this was under resistance. It was not a trade yet. Well, as you can see, it's broken through and heading up. So now, listen, I don't know that it'll come back and test this. You would definitely take a trade if it came back and tested that descending resistance as support. Otherwise, maybe if you're trying to buy a dip, you look kind of in this area, kind of the same thing. Or even now up here, you could look at the area where it is right now. This is an ugly candle on the daily yesterday, so I would wait to see what happens with this. But we do have a confirmed breakout, which should be sending price back up to these levels, the top of that blue line. Now, looking on the USDT pair, very clean breakout of the trading range that was in after the drop in May. Huge, right? Same thing as Bitcoin. Now it's above this. Again, price was here when I shared it. So now we have the break. It did not retest yet. I have a strong feeling that it might. That would only be down to $17.20, coming into strong resistance. So again, you either buy a dip here or you wait to clear this supply area and you buy here looking for a target up in the $32 range. Either way, this did break out. It does now look like an active trade. AVAX, what is there to say? Broke out, retested, and broke through this resistance of the descending wedge and now should be headed to 0.0008957. But it's really more interesting on this pair, right? I know that most people are trading these on tether pairs now. We used to trade against Bitcoin. That's not really the thing anymore, clearly. So we had the flip of this level at 21,380. Look at that. This is what I had drawn. It was over here at the time, but that's what I had drawn. And it came back down and retested support almost to the penny. And now it's broken this and retested as well. So we are in resistance now. This is key supply, but you can literally, hey, look, scoot it over, get above, retest that as support, continue heading up. But this looks like a massive move, a major dip buying opportunity if you get them. And look at this volume. This is the daily right here. It's only 8:30 a.m. So another 12 hours left. We're going to have another daily candle as big as these. This is absolutely astounding when you compare it to all of the volume in this downtrend and consolidation. AVAX looks like a dip buying opportunity. That is Avalanche. EGLD broke through resistance, broke above the EQ, came back, tested. We have 3 candles sitting exactly on that support. This should continue up to the top. Also, the breakout of this descending wedge, as you can see, the target of that is also the top of that descending wedge. So EGLD on the Bitcoin pair, 0.005061 looks like the target. This just dipped, the buy was 3136. You're only at 3264 right now, very close. EGLD on the USDT pair, again, clean breakout here, should be targeting $245 or eventually. As I said in the video, 120 triggered 148. And now if we can close above, again, 1, 2, 3 wicks above, this is not confirmed break of 148.65 yet, but a close above 148.65, same thing. Either, you get greedy and you buy it up here, or you try to catch it as support here. You may miss these trades, but there's always another trade. But confirmation comes with a retest of support, and you're headed to 203. So right now, the trade on this to me is 148.65 on a retest as support after a close above, moving up to 203.71. SUSHI on the Bitcoin pair. Well, that's the idea I drew. That's the idea we got. It broke, closed above, retested here, maybe you get another retest, but this looks like it should be headed. This is a triple bottom. Measured move here is a target of 0.003579. I would say that the target is this whole area because you will definitely be expecting resistance at 0.003465. And sushi on the USDT pair, also same thing. It was down here, 3 ugly potential candles, but big Chad candle yesterday, and now a close above and a retest. That's the retest you're looking for. It's happening right now. This should be targeting $22.537. And there's not much resistance in this area because that was a big dip. You kind of have a vacuum there. Holy crap, that was a mouthful and is all of the charts in 10 minutes. Now let's look at the news. Cardano hits new all-time high as Charles Hoskinson fights off critics. Cardano's native token ADA has hit a new all-time high just a week after overtaking Tether as the industry's 3rd largest cryptocurrency. All eyes are on Cardano because people want to see smart contracts. Feels like we've been saying that for years, and maybe this is actually the time. It seems like it is likely that we will finally see smart contracts coming to ADA. That is the story all eyes are on, I believe, September 12th to see if that will happen. These stories coming up right now are freaking amazing. Missouri mayor wants to give every resident $1,000 in Bitcoin. And what's the name of the town? Cool Valley, Missouri. Cool Valley, Missouri just got a little cooler, wouldn't you say? Who doesn't want to move to a town that's going to give everybody $1,000 in Bitcoin? And the catch here, there's 1,500 people. He wants to give $1,000 in Bitcoin. They're figuring out how to do that, but they're going to vest it and make people hodl for 5 years. Absolutely amazing. We've seen mayors across the country starting to move towards Bitcoin adoption, but Cooler Valley, Missouri now really making news and doing something way cooler than I would have expected. $1,000 to 1,500 residents, forcing them to hodl for 5 years. The guy says, listen, you'd be pissed if you went and paid off your gas bill right now with Bitcoin that I'm going to give you. So I'm going to make you hold it and you're going to be super paid and rich. And speaking of Bitcoin appreciating, this story is amazing. Sweden's government forced to return 1.5 million in Bitcoin to drug dealer. That's the difference in value since the time of the dealer's prosecution while he was in jail. This is an incredible story. Guy went to jail 2 years ago. They confiscated 36 Bitcoin, which was worth just under $150,000. Well, they only had to sell 3 Bitcoin to make that $150,000 back. And now they have to give him back 33 Bitcoin that he earned from dealing drugs. They have to give it back to him. It's now worth $1.5 million after they sold 3 of his Bitcoin for a measly $150,000. And the best part here is this quote. The lesson to be learned from this is to keep the value in Bitcoin, that the profit from the crime should be 36 Bitcoin, regardless of what value Bitcoin has at the time. Oh, interesting. Now the authorities want to peg things to Bitcoin value and stack sats because they are the hers on this deal. But yes, we all know that everything should be valued in Bitcoin when you're trading or investing in this asset, and that it should not be pegged to the US dollar. Now moving on to the institutions, BlackRock has almost 400 million invested in Bitcoin mining stocks. SEC filing dated June 30th show BlackRock, which with stakes in Marathon Holdings and Riot Blockchain. You guys might not know, BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager, trillions under assets under management, I believe. And they have about 400 million in mining companies. As I've said over and over again, I've written articles about it. Mining is somewhat a leveraged Bitcoin play. If you believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to go up, then investing in North American miners, especially after the China exodus, is a really good way to capture more upside than even the price of Bitcoin. Of course, you have more downside if it drops, but none of us really believe that over the long term that will happen. Well, here you can see that they had about 383 million. Now, a lot of this is spread across their mutual funds. So they're in exchange traded funds like their iShares Russell 2000 ETF, but almost $400 million in these 2 miners. And as you know, if you don't remember, as it says here, Fidelity International also disclosed an investment in Marathon Digital. They have a big investment in that. So looking at mining stocks, this is a way to gain exposure without buying the asset. So even if BlackRock doesn't buy Bitcoin, they have huge exposure here to Bitcoin. Wells Fargo launches passive Bitcoin fund for wealthy clients. JP Morgan also registered its passive Bitcoin fund with US regulators on Thursday. I believe JP Morgan actually filed for more than one fund. What's interesting here, these are passive. They're not active. It's basically buy and hold strategy. Nobody's managing it, just gaining access to the asset. What's also interesting, though, is that one of these, JP Morgan, I believe, was pegged at $100,000 minimum. It used to be $1 or $2 million minimum. So they're actually coming down, and some of them did not have a quota, meaning that in theory, people are conjecturing that everyday people will be able to buy Bitcoin through Wells Fargo and JP Morgan in the future without having to be the wealthiest of clients. This was all done through NYDIG, who seems to be facilitating all these institutional deals. Most importantly, it is very clear institutions are here. They're gaining more access and they're giving it to their customers, whether they like it or not, because the customers want it. A lot of these banks, JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, he absolutely hates Bitcoin. He is a shithead of epic proportions. But JP Morgan is offering this asset to their clients. Why? He has to. He has to keep up or get left behind and become one of those 2008 Lehman Brothers banks who goes completely out of business because you were not smart enough to try to get clients into Bitcoin. Guys, that is all of the news today. That is all of the charts. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, check out everything I have down in the description. My newsletter, Compass Mining. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday, Jack Dorsey is using Compass Mining, just like me. Feels really cool, but there's a link down there for that. You basically just buy your ASIC with them. They set it up. You pay the electricity costs and you make money. It's really an interesting way to get involved in Bitcoin mining. Now, I will be live streaming again today, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, still going to be doing my 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We might start moving those up in the future a bit, but today at 2 p.m., it's going to be epic. The show is called Bullish on Bitcoin. I do it every Friday, and I'm having guests. I had Nebraska and Gooner, Peter Brandt. Well, today I have Tone Vase and Sam Trabucco from Alameda Research, works with Sam Bankman-Fried. We're going to talk Bitcoin, and it is going to be freaking epic. You guys need to absolutely check that out in a few hours. Until then, thank you for hanging out with me, and peace.
That's dope.